Well, Kimberly Hartnett, thanks for coming by to talk to us about your book about Harry Golden called Carolina Israelite, with the subtitle, How Harry Golden Made Us Care About Jews, the South, and the Civil Rights. You've had a good time promoting this book, I think.
I have. I've been talking about it all over the country, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
Tell us about his connection with Charlotte. Charlotte's our biggest town. When I was growing up, Harry Golden was the biggest thing in Charlotte. Now, we don't remember him quite as well. Tell us about Harry Golden in Charlotte.
Well, he landed there in the early 40s, really because he needed work. He had done some prison time, which was a big secret initially, up north. And Charlotte had a lot of things that he liked. It was big enough to have a cultural life that was important to him and had a Jewish community, but it wasn't so big that he would get sort of lost in it. He had a lot of friends in the labor press. They were here. And he was initially very warmly welcomed, I think, by the community here.
Tell us about his great success. Let's move ahead. He became nationally, internationally known because of a book he wrote.
Right. His first book was just a massive bestseller in 1958. That's only in America. It was just a shock even to the publisher. They did no advertising. It sold 250,000 copies in just a matter of a couple of days. He went on to write 20 other books, but that one was always the biggest seller.
Why was it so successful?
Well, I think it hit a nerve, and I think it hit the heart of a lot of people. A lot of it was drawn from his homely little newspaper, the Carolina Israelite, which he put out roughly monthly in Charlotte. They were short essays, and they might be about buying a bar mitzvah suit on the Lower East Side when he was a boy. It might be about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, the sinking of the Titanic, things that he remembered, hearing about or reading about in his boyhood. As time went on, more and more of it was about the South and about the race issue and the challenges facing the South in that era, the country in that era, really. And it was such a mix that it was really like just sitting down with a really smart friend and listening. And more often than not, he was quite funny.
In some ways, these essays were a little bit critical of the South in a spirited way, and of Charlotte. Did the people in Charlotte like the idea that they had a best-selling author in their midst?
I think it was a real mix. I think the Jewish community was often very embarrassed by him because he really just was a loose cannon. More than once he would say something on a national stage, and several leaders in the community would write letters to the editor for national publications saying, well, we don't agree with Harry Golden, he doesn't speak for me. But I think he used to say people didn't take him seriously, so he could get away with saying all these outrageous things. I don't think he really believed that. I don't think it was really true. But sometimes as an outsider, and he was very much an outsider, you can say things that maybe a local person wouldn't say. I also think that he loved the South very deeply, and I do think that showed even when he was criticizing it. And lots of people who loved the South very deeply were criticizing it quietly or otherwise in that era, and still do. You can criticize a place and be, deeply attached to it.
Why don't we know more about him? Why don't we remember him more, as famous as he was back then?
That's a question that gets asked a lot when I talk about the book or do readings around the country. And the first reason is the internet did not exist, and people could disappear. Now you cannot disappear even if you want to. I mean, it just doesn't work. So I think some of it is just how technology has changed who we remember. I also think he went out of style, as activists and activist writers often do. His nostalgic, feel-good, Lower East Side, really sentimental take on his Jewish childhood was something that Jewish America wanted to read about only up to a point, and then as the 60s sort of got rolling, not so much anymore. The civil rights movement changed. It became more militant. His view that had once been very aggressive was seen as too moderate.
Well, he may have gone out of style a little bit, but I think your book Carolina Israelite is going to bring him back, and we thank you for that and for
so.
sharing a little bit of it with us today.
Thank you.